Dolly always says, honey, time marches on, and sooner or later you realize it's marching across your face. Or, well, maybe she said it as Truvy and Steel Magnolias, don't matter. If Dolly said it, Dolly said it, and even if it's Dolly as another woman saying it, the words still come out of her mouth. So, it counts. She even got her own COVID quarantine song. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't touch my man. Jolene, 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 if you touch him, please go wash your hands. Yeah, Dolly saved my life and over again. For one, that song, and second, when I was in 5th grade, Grandma took me to a Dolly Parton karaoke night at the Landlubbers Grill, where I met my first girlfriend, Sally Faye Rutledge. She taught me everything I know about French kissing, French braids, and she was sophisticated. Oui, y'all. But the third time's what's God's answer to your question, Mr. Bernard. Episode number 3 on the list of how Dolly Parton saved my life is called The Recklessness of Screening the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas at the Drive-In Theater on Route 25 with a bunch of bubbas in attendance. Now, this wasn't no Joyful Noise or Smoky Mountain Christmas crowd. No, sir. Those are respectable. This was a drunk and high off their asses audience, angry as a hornet in the heat that both their Little League baseball team and high school football team flat lost every game that year. Now, when Grant and I got there, we parked as far away as we could get from the bubbas, while still able to see Dolly Parton sing I Will Always Love You, which, that's Grant's favorite part. Right before first preview, a little Beetlebug car rolled up at the Great Yawn between us and the bubbas. At first, we ignored it. Didn't no one get out to sit on the hood or the roof like you usually see with them small cars at drive-ins. Didn't even roll down the windows to hear the squawky sound coming out of the little box outside the car window. So, Grant's got her homemade Newman's popcorn in her purse. Got her hearing aid, tuned up, high, and she is living her best life through Dolly Peroxide and the idea that there is still some gentleman who will overlook the indiscretions of a real lady, and that all of those gentlemen look just like Burt Reynolds. Now, I am a little 13-year-old punk who is pubescently programmed to be a little shit, so when I see this Volkswagen Bug with its windows all rolled up acting weird, I knew it was a perfect time to use the little firecrackers I've been carrying around in my pocket. So I told Grant I had to use the bathroom, and I slip out of the car, and I climb on my hands and knees to the little bug. I pull out a half dozen crackers. Now each one is only about the size as big as your thumb. I lit them all first, which, looking back, was in error. Yeah. Put one in the bottom of the right door jamb. I put a second in the bottom of the left door jamb, and the fuses of the last 4 are sizzling away. I stand halfway to put them in the top of the door jamb in the window, and I get my first look inside of the rider's car, and I look at him, and I look hard, and I freeze, and I know that I can't freeze. I know that I have to unfreeze fast. There's part of my brain, and the sizzle of the fuses are burning down. But I couldn't move. I'm just looking at that man. Now, it's a regular-looking guy. But inside his car, there was a symphony. He had all the papers spread out along his dashboard, and he would turn a page every few seconds. And he had this little keyboard and a trumpet and a banjo. I don't know, a couple other instruments I couldn't even name. And they were spread out in a precise order. He'd pick them up, play for a bit, look at the sheet music for a bit, play again. Now, I had heard Whorehouse since I was born. It was Grant's favorite musical, but the music that I heard coming through this man's dusty window was, it was more. It was different. I don't know. It was the music from the movie, but better, writhing and alive, beat with a heartbeat all its own. And as I stood there and I watched that one-man band play Courtyard Shag, I thought that I had ascended to somewhere else. It lifted me out of the dirt, out of the beer spills, and the Bubbas shouting crude sex acts to the screen. The music coming from inside that car made me feel free and invincible, entirely myself and entirely something new. All at once, I was perfect and at peace. And it was about that moment where I heard six pops and I smelled the burn on my flannel shirt and jeans. I felt my fingers hurt, like they got the knuckle joints all pulled out at once. And then there was a heat and a fire surging all up my body and over my arm. And the man with the music, he saw me. He got out of his car and covered me with his coat. And the doctor said I had burns over 30% of my body. And if the man had not covered me, it would have been a lot worse. The driving called 911. It took him about an hour for the ambulance to get to us. And all that time, I just kept saying, play for me, play for me, play for me. And he did. Cocooned in the dark, held by the land, everybody else gone away. He played and played and played and played. He played original Dolly songs, his own versions of them, and that saved my life. It kept me conscious and breathing until they could get me into that ambulance and pump me full of medicine. I never knew who the man with the music was. I came back to the drive-in a few times, always when they played musicals, and I saw a lot of good shows. But never him. When they let me use my body again, I started off playing guitar. Now, I can play Dolly's entire discography. I can also play alt country, and rock, and punk, and blues, and even sometimes I'm musical now and then, but it's only when I play songs from Whorehouse that I think I see him in the corner of my eye, lurking in the back, or raising a glass from the bar. I can't ever thank him, but I know he's out there somewhere, and by the grace of Dolly, we are both whole. Well, that's why I am sitting with you in this bar, Mr. Bernard, band long gone. The patron's gone even longer. Just like to stay to the end, just in case he comes back. I want to be here waiting for him with a song, that we both remember.